honored to be with you today at your commencement from of the finest universities in the world. I never graduated from college. Truth be told, this is the closest I've ever gotten to a college graduation. Today, I want to tell you three stories from my life. That's no big deal, just three stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stay around as a drop-in for another 18 months or so before I really quit. So, why did I drop out? It started before I was born. My biological mother was a young, unwed college graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. She felt very strongly that I should be adopted by college graduates. So everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. Except that when I popped out, they decided at the last minute that they really want a girl. So my parents, who were on a waiting list, got a call in the middle of the night asking, "We have an unexpected baby boy. Do you want him?" They said, "Of course." My biological mother later found out that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would someday go to college. And 17 years later, I did go to college, but I never chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see that value in it. I had no idea what I want to do with my life and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was spending all of the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it will all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required class that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looking interesting. I was all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friend's room. I returned Coke bottle for the 5 deposits to buy food with, and I would walk the 7 miles across across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I love it, and much of what I stumble into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal class, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to this. And I learned about serif and sans serif, typeface, about varying the amount of space between different letter combination, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life, but 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me, and we decided it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on the single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since we don't just copy the Macs, it's likely that no personal computer would have them. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on this calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college. But but it but it was but it was very, very clear looking backward 10 years later. Again, you can connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something. Your gut, destiny, your life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. My second story is about love and loss. I was lucky. I found what I love to do early in my life and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into 2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. We had just released our finance creation, the Macintosh, a years earlier, and I had just turned 30, and then I got fired. How can you get fired from a company you started? Well, as Apple grew, we hired someone who I thought was very talented to run the company with me. And for the first year or so things went well, but then our visions of the future began to diverge, and eventually we had a falling out. When we did, our board of directors side with him. So at 30 I was out, and very publicly out. What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. I really didn't know what to do. For a few months. I felt that I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down, that I had dropped the baton as it was being passed to me. I met with David Packard and Bob Noyce and tried to apologize for screwing up so badly. I was a very public failure, and I even thought about running away from the valley. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still love what I did. The turn of events at Apple had not changed that one bit. I had been rejected, but I was still in love, and I decided to start over. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being the beginner again. Less sure about everything, it fit me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next, Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first computer-animated feature film, Toy Story, and is now the most successful animation studio in the world. In a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next. I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Lauren and I have a wonderful family together. I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened I hadn't been from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm confident that the only thing that kept me going was that I love what I did. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for your work as is it for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly what you do, truly satisfied, is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle, as with all matters of the heart. You'll know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking until you find it. Don't settle. My third story is about that. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, if you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right. It made an impression on me, and since then, for the past 30 years, I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked my life, if today were the last day of my life, will I want to do what I'm about to do today? And wherever the answer has been no, for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choice in my life. Because almost everything, all external expectation, all pride, all fear of embarrassment, of failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a scan at 7:30 in the morning, and it clearly showed a tumor on my pancreas. I didn't even know what the pancreas was. The doctor told me this is almost certainly of type of cancer that is incurable and that I should expect to live no longer than 6 months. No one should die, even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called The Whole Earth Catalog, which was one of the Bibles of my generation. It was created by a fellow named Stewart Brand, not far from here in Menlo Park. Stewart and his team put out several issues of the Whole Earth Catalog, and then when it had run its course, stay hungry, stay foolish, and I have always wished that for my life. And now, as you graduate to begin now, I wish that for you. Thank you.